All right. So, recap, just Steven, right? I didn't watch anything else.
That's all I saw. Did you see anything else, Tooch?
Okay, so it was... Shit, how did I forget? It's not that long ago.
It was Book Buddies!
Book Buddies!
Where we learn about the wonder of the public library, you guys.
Steven apparently loves the shit out of books.
He does.
He does. He just doesn't know how to read them right.
So Connie's like, let's go to the library. And they go, and Connie's like, showing how great it is. And Steven's like, wah! And they do the shush joke because they have to do the shush joke. What was the book that Nanafuna was reading?
Okay, Nanafuna was reading a book just called Brigand. She was just reading a horny book. And, like, good for her.
Good for you.
It's just like a big man on the cover, like a Fabio man on the cover.
That's been half of the books shown on this cartoon. Like spicy adult romances.
Have been horny books?
Yeah. Because there was the outer
and then
space
pretty
one.
hairstylist.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, Connie decides to get a leg up on homework because she's such an adorable nerd. Meanwhile, Steven's wandering around books, and he finds a secret book. Like, what everybody wishes they could... Like, what every kid wishes they could find when they go to a bookstore or a book place. Like, this is the magic book with the magic secrets nobody knows about. Oh!
I'm gonna get page mastered!
Hopefully it'll be better than that movie.
So Steve was like, Connie! And Connie's like, fuck, homework!
Yeah, she just
Magic
smashes
book?
throws all her shit off the table.
So the rest of the episode is a kind of like Wishbone-esque kind of self-insert journey into the book kind of thing.
Yeah.
But with Jamie.
But with Jamie instead of a puppy.
They both headcanon the writer is Jamie.
So it's the Journal of Buddy, the first mate to the original Dewey. I forgot his first name, but the one they did the play about.
Yeah, Captain Dewey, we can say.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's from his perspective, and he's traveling around the world because he's like, man, I want to be somebody. And
listen, either I'm going to be somebody, or I'm going to be somebody's fool. And actually, yeah, the librarian was reading The Passions of Xanthor, which is another horny book, with actually roles reverse. The alien is feminine, and then the swooning person in their arm.
That was the book that Greg had, like, when he was trying to figure out his relationship with his new alien girlfriend. Yeah, there's a picture of Rose reading it. It's in Greg's stuff.
Yeah, I never gotten a good look at it before.
So we journey into the adventure of Buddy as he travels the world for rare and interesting places, which turn out to be all gem-built and associated locations. And it's kind of the first time we get to see the world, or this whole gem stuff, through the eyes of, like, somebody removed from it, through just, like, regular humanity. Like, how do they view and, like, internalize the fact that there are these weird people on their planet who have all these weird buildings and ruins and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we basically get a tour of all this stuff. We learn that the strawberry fields are actually in Scandinavia. Mm-hmm. And he meets up with old-timey Pearl and Garnet there, who draw him a map of all the cool shit where it should never go.
Yeah, Pearl's like, here's where all the places that are too dangerous.
And one of those places, which we didn't see him visit, is at the epicenter of the Great Siberian Crater.
I mean, it wasn't very specific which X matched up to which place after the whole strawberry field thing.
Yeah, but I feel like we would have known if it was in the epicenter of the Siberian Crater. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, if you've seen the map of the Steven Universe...
Ceasefire.
Well, okay, in the Steven Universe globe, you know, the Earth is shaped a bit differently. And one of the things is that in Russia, there's just a huge crater, a colossal. And we don't really know what's there. But apparently, well, obviously something happened there. And I would theorized that that's the epicenter of when the homeworld did whatever final attack they did. But Nina pointed out that crater was already there on the moon map in the Gem Moon base, so probably not.
Yeah.
Something.
Either way, Buddy runs around, has some interactions, meets Amethyst. That was pretty cute.
Yeah. She's just like, get out of my home.
Yeah.
No, she's like, no, you're welcome back anytime, but don't come too much.
God.
Just so real. It's like, yeah, you come in whenever you want, but like not all the time, though.
The greatest moment this fucking season, Pearl and Garnet driving away on a big wheeled bike.
Yeah, the penny far thing.
Yeah.
Out of control.
So he eventually runs into Rose in the desert and her pack of faithful lions.
Yeah. Pearl said that Rose never had a lion. Pearl apparently didn't know shit.
Yeah,
Rose
Quartz just showed up in the desert one day, and it was just like, oh my god, this beach is full of free cats.
This beach doesn't have an ocean, and there's lots of big cats. Even though lions don't live in desert climate, but whatever. It's adventure. It's not Adventure Time. It's Steven Universe. It's a different world.
Or is it Adventure Time?
And Rose basically imparts onto Buddy that it's like, yeah, you may not have been the first person to discover these places, but you're the first person to document it like this and to like add your own perspective. And it's unique and it's special and
you're the first
wonderful.
person to give a shit. I sure don't. This is gem garbage. I destroyed a lot of this.
And then it turns out that Buddy founded the library.
Yeah.
And it was cute, and the kids look at the port and like, that's not how I imagined him to look. Ha ha ha. And it was just cute. It was like a little bit of world building, but mostly just like fun.
Yeah.
It was mostly just like a fun time.
And Jamie's such a fun character because he's a
ham.
passionate man. He's passionate in everything he does.
Even when he's not actually there, and he's in a figment of two children's imaginations.
They know Jamie very well.
They haven't met him that much, but that's all you need.
Do we know? Like, do we know what episode's coming next?
Yes, it is called Mindful Education, and the synopsis is Stephen and Connie learn to focus better. So, I mean, Nina and I have been watching it on Cartoon Network. So they've been showing previews, and we see another Stevani episode of them, getting better at fighting as a unit.
And it's probably the best Stevani design yet.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
It's great. Oh, it's great.
And then after that is Future Boy Zoltron.
I'm so excited. It's going to be so silly.
So Stouts?
Yeah, so that's our Steven recap. Sorry we haven't been recapping other things.
I want to come back and do like a chunk on Star because what I've seen of Star so far, it's like really worth talking about in detail. We got an email this morning at 2:30 a.m. that I love. Did you see this one?
No.
It is a response from Naomi, the person who emailed us last week saying that, like, my parents want me to go and be an architect and I don't wanna. What should I do?
Right.
And
we told her not to.
She drew a comic of her telling me that she misappropriated her parents' money to buy a tablet.
Yeah!
She did?
Well, she drew the comic. She thought that was very funny.
Oh, right, okay. I was like, whoa, Naomi! Girl!
Nah, fuck it up. Mess up the establishment.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that's what stuck to her more than anything else. It is the idea of
this scam.
Yeah.
I like how you draw teeth.
Yeah, I love janky teeth.
I like janky teeth in cartoons. It's great.
Your teeth were like a castle's teeth. And she also wants us to talk about the Loud House, which, I mean...
Everybody wants to talk about Loud House. I want to talk about the Loud House. I need to do it.
It's gotta get done.
Okay.
Also, Babe Snacks asked me specifically...
And this was last week, and now we're ready to talk about it.
Now I'm ready to talk about it. Since you just graduated, I was wondering if you would be able to talk more about your thesis. About Magical Girls. You've hinted about it, I'm very intrigued. Yes, I can do that, because I finished the thing.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who showed their support for Nina finishing
Thank you so
her
much.
thesis, and also the thing that I tacked on about reaching Super Silver Rank in Street Fighter V. Like a complete shit. I have to.
Steal my thunder with your bullcrap.
Man, I proofread the whole thing, and it's interesting as fucking hell. So let's talk about it, Nina.
Yeah, I guess. How long are we going?
Well, I mean, like, what's your thesis?
Okay, so my thesis is about...
Do you need a refresher?
I know what it's about. I wrote the damn thing. I'm just like, how do I...
Magical girls, gender scripts, play.
Like, it's for my degree, and my degree is kind of based in cultural studies, so I have to have like this theoretical basis, and I base it off this dude named Richard Schechner who had this theory about performance and scripts related to theater mostly, but I sort of took that and related it more to like gender performance, because I also use a bit of Judith Butler and how, you know, gender is performative, and if gender is performance, then what are we basing the performance off of? And I said that was like these sort of pre-existing scripts that we've built up over time of how to behave and how like best to act in certain situations, and we all abide by these certain scripts in different ways. And then I talked about the nature of play, which is like using the script and like fucking around with it. And I basically said that Magical Girls and Mahou Shoujo is sort of one way that we can play with gender scripts and play with the concept of gender and what it means, and why there's this weird paradox when you talk about Mahou Shoujo, where on the one hand they seem to be very progressive because they're these girls, they're doing stuff girls aren't supposed to do, and yet a lot of times they end up having these very heteronormative kind of endings, like Sailor Moon, for instance. And sort of I documented 4 shows that I felt was like sort of a progression of this play, of like starting out adhering to the script more, and then more and more expanding beyond it and looking at it not from an individual perspective, but from like a societal perspective. So I talked about Princess Knight, I talked about Sailor Moon, of course, I talked about Revolutionary Girl Utena, and I talked about Princess Tutu.
Now, I haven't seen more than like 4 episodes of Princess Tutu, and as I was reading this, I'm like, okay, Nina, you're spoiling a lot of dope shit for me. This show sounds like it rules.
It does rule?
I did not know this shit was gonna happen. I thought it was just a ballet magical girl show.
Yeah, that's the point!
And then
you're supposed to think it's like, oh, this is just some dumb ballet magical girl, la la la.
I didn't think it was dumb.
No, it's not. It's like Princess Tutu, that can't be deep and meaningful. Nah, man. That's what makes it magical girl. That's all magical girl stuff does that shit. I don't know. That's the gist of it, I guess. I haven't gotten any feedback yet from my professors whom I've turned it into, which is stressful, but, you know, I'll let you know what happens.
Great.
Do you have the legal, like, copyright to post it yourself, or does the school own that?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think if they like it, they could probably ask her about it. I'm pretty sure it's hers to do what she wants with it.
It's pretty sure it's mine, because my school doesn't have like a publishing of any kind for the theses.
Right.
Yeah, so we can probably share it with you guys
if I want to. My only like apprehension about sharing it is that my professors may not know a lot about magical girls, but I know that the internet does. And I don't want, like, some person to be like, why don't you talk about this? Or, what about this part? Or, what about this? Or, what about that? Or, what, blah, blah, blah.
And even I was like, oh, you're not talking about Madoka? And this is before I read and knew what she was doing with it. Because her point is, like, Madoka doesn't fit into this at all. And she's right. Gender is not really at play in Madoka.
I mean, it kind of is, but only in the way that it kind of always is. It's more about... Urobuchi is more about deconstructing the typical Mahou Shoujo narrative.
An archetypal, plot.
More than doing anything with gender.
Yeah. It's just about gender the way...
Thesis papers need to be, like, very hyper-focused. You really gotta just stick with what you're doing and not try to do a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
It's hard, especially since I talk about 4 different shows.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I'm happy it's done.
I'm sure.
We've also got some very important news to talk about.
Uh-huh. I guess I'll take that away. Yeah. This was a difficult decision for me, but after our 100th episode, I am leaving the show. It is not an easy decision. I don't want to, but I have just been going through a lot of different stuff with like where my life's going, where I want my careers and aspirations, and where I need to focus my personal projects and where I want to take myself. And I just came to the conclusion after like a very tumultuous few weeks of just like I can't. Like I my art and my animation, they need to be the only things in my life, or I'm not going to have the time to do it. And this is a hard lesson that I've been teaching myself over years and years. When I first started doing creative stuff online, I had a million ideas for a million different things, and a million different things I couldn't do. So I quickly learned, well, I thought I quickly learned that I need to focus on what I can do so that I can actually finish things and make them good. But like I still am having trouble doing things. But this show has been the most successful thing that I've worked on, the most complete feeling thing I've worked on, and I'm so glad that you guys wanted me to be a part of it. And I feel really shitty for having to leave, but yeah, that's just the way it's got to be, and it's been really rough coming to terms with it.
And so
yeah.
So we're next week we are doing our 100th episode on Homestar Runner, and then after that we're honestly not sure. Nina and I want to continue doing this show, but Tooch is such an integral part of it that it's that we still need to really figure out what we're going to do going forward.
Right.
And we will keep you abreast of what we're going to do going forward as soon as we figure it out. Like we've been talking. Nina and I have been kind of mulling this over. We've all known that Tooch decided to leave and told us about it a while ago. We just haven't brought it up because wasn't yet relevant. But we figured at this close to the line, we should let everybody know that the show is going to change coming up, and it's very hard figuring out what we're going to do, and we've got a few ideas and we're gonna mull them over, but Tooch gave us some leeway to help come up with a contingency, and I think 100 episodes is a good run, a good amount for at least our the original incarnation of this show.
Right, and that does mean that we did put together a Patreon page. It was ready to go up, but in light of this news, it was kind of, we need to rework it.
Yeah.
Because our project is different now. So, sorry about that.
Yeah. We'll, like we said, we're going to keep you on top of everything that we're going to do in the future. And we don't want to just quit doing this show. Nina and I love doing this. It's a lot of fun. It's an outlet that we kind of, it's an outlet that we would just have between the two of us anyway.
I guess.
But especially when you're not living here, it's also a great opportunity to just talk to you every week.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of interesting because the show was originally conceived as something between Tooch and Nikki.
And then I was telling Nina about it. I was like, oh, wait, you should be in it. You should be in it. That's stupid that you're not in it.
I wasn't originally in the picture at all, so it's kind of neat. I don't know. Anyway, that's been this episode.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody. I've been Nikki.
I've been Nina.
I continue to be Tooch.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.